Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
Welcome back to podcast 88 of 2024. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neil. You can follow me on Twitter at OBKiev. Follow us at the Odds Breakers. Follow us on social media / the Odds Breakers. This episode is being brought to you by MyBookie.ag. For an up to $1,000 sign-up bonus, please visit theoddsbreakers.com/bet now. Terms, conditions, and location apply. If you'd like to support the Odds Breakers and benefit from our premium plays, please visit theoddsbreakers.com, click shop, and become a member. Pick any for winning campers. Get their premium plays before the line moves. You can also support us on patreon.com. And if nothing else, please visit the Odds Breakers to become a free picks and Telegram subscriber. All right, my friends, college basketball starts Monday. So we need to get this baby out. It is Monday, actually, since I'm recording this on a Sunday and we'll be releasing it on a Monday morning. I did a lot of work, and there's going to be an article later on Monday published along with this work that talk about the college basketball pace changes, new coaching changes, and pace changes. I think it's very important to discuss that, and this way maybe you can get a quick edge in the first couple weeks here of college basketball. I normally suggest looking more at the overs in the first couple games because, teams just are all over the place and it ends up being sloppy and more points are usually scored the first 2 or 3 games. So the truth is that my unders, maybe I'll have a few in the beginning, but it's more going to be based on overs for the first week and a half. And then I'll probably go into the unders. And this will stay relevant, this article and this information, probably for about 3 or 4 weeks here. We're just getting into the regular season, not a ton of rushed situations here. Teams will be playing a game or two a week. So that's what we're looking at. This article has 68 new coaching changes, but some pace changes are not really going to be that significant, and so I'm going to kind of skip over some of it. It will all be in the article, but I'm going to hit the key teams and the key coaching names kind of coming in, as well as the key pace changes, because that's what's important. I don't think I need to talk about the Canisius Golden Griffins going from Reggie Witherspoon to Jim Christian, because they're just going from medium to medium fast, right? So I might skip a couple teams like that, but it will all be in the article coming out on Monday, midday. So this is going to be a quick show. My pace rankings are just ranking of pace, basically, because that's the best way to do it. If I start giving you actual tempo numbers like 70.6, it's not going to mean quite as much. I want to tell you where they rank compared to the rest of the 364 teams, I believe, this year in college basketball. And that way, you'll get a good idea of which teams are going in which direction when it comes to betting totals. So here we go. Let's start right away here. Get this going out. Arkansas Razorbacks, Eric Musselman going to John Calipari. What's funny is that Calipari moved from Kentucky to Arkansas right in the SEC. He don't care. They played fast at Kentucky, but the few years before he played much slower. I think pace in the 60s is probably a safe bet here. And Arkansas did play very fast last year. So next key team is BYU. Mark Pope to Kevin Young. BYU played a medium fast pace last season at 84th and Ken Palm. Kevin Young comes from the Suns. I think it stays up there. I'm going to project pace in the 100, so still medium fast for BYU. Charleston Cougars from Pat Kelsey to Chris Mack. Right. I mean, they were a good team last year, like I said. Tempo is probably going to be from medium fast to medium because Chris Mack plays it around a medium pace. So they were fast at 51 last year. Let's move on to the next one that makes sense. Coastal Carolina Chanticleers from Cliff Ellis to Justin Gray. This team played pretty fast at 73rd in pace, but Justin comes from Western Carolina. I expect a slower pace like he has, ranking in the 210s. It's a good jump down, so medium fast to medium slow. Next one that makes sense, Detroit Mercy Titans. Pace at 227 last year. I expect Mark Montgomery from Northern Illinois to slow it down a lot. 330s is my projection. Medium to very slow. Next one, Fresno State from Justin Hudson to Vance Wahlberg. So from pace ranking in 290, Vance comes from the NBA and high school. He did coach Pepperdine in 2000s, where his pace was super fast. So I expect the same. And this will go from medium slow to very fast. I project pace in the 20s. Green Bay Phoenix, Sundance Wicks to Doug Gottlieb. This was definitely the biggest holy smokes of the offseason coaching changes. Doug Gottlieb becoming a coach. He's going to try to do double duty with his broadcasting and his analyst job. Radio personality. Green Bay ranked in 345th in pace, but their defense was bad. I assume Doug's going to be middle of the pack in the 180s, so very slow to medium. Indiana State Sycamores, Josh Schertz to Matthew Graves. They were awesome last year, if you remember. Very fast to very fast is what we're just staying with because of the assistant moving up. James Madison Dukes. This is a huge one. Mark Byington to Preston Spradlin. JMU was fun last year as they bounced my Badgers in the NCAA tournament. They played up-tempo, ranking 70th in pace, but Preston Spradlin comes from a super slow Morehead State and will bring this pace to a crawl into the 330s. Medium fast to very slow for James Madison, so be looking for unders for James Madison. Long Beach, Kentucky. Can't skip over Kentucky because John Calipari is moving to Mark Pope. Now, the pace is not going to change much. Kentucky was 12th in pace last year. They blew teams away when they were on. They lost by a lot when they were off. Mark Pope comes from BYU, and he's going to slow it down a little bit, just to the 60s, though. So very fast to medium fast. Here's one. Long Beach State, Dan Monson and Chris Acker. Long Beach State played super fast, ranking 24th in pace. Chris Acker comes from an assistant role in San Diego State and will greatly slow this down. I project 240s for pace ranking, so from very fast to medium slow. So Long Beach State will slow it down a lot. Mercer Bears. This is a big one. Greg Gary and Ryan Riddler. Huge change alert. Mercer was 268th in pace, but the Riddler comes in from Tennessee Martin that will bring pace into the top 10. So overs with Mercer. Mercer, medium slow to very fast. Probably should mention Morehead State because they're such a fun unders team, but it's just going to stay pretty much the same from Preston Spradlin to Jonathan Maddox. Morehead was very slow at 337th in pace, but John Maddox, he was an assistant there before he went to Murray State. So I expect it still to be very slow. I project pace in the 290s. It was, medium slow, very slow to medium slow. So they might not be quite as unders as you think. We'll have to just wait and see. Mount St. Mary's, Dan Engelstead to Donnie Lind. Pace was 89th last year. Donnie Lind comes from an assistant role at UNC Greensboro, and that team played slow. I project pace in the 300s, medium fast to medium slow. And when I say 300s, I mean 300 to 310. That's the projection. Ohio State Buckeyes. Chris Holtman to Jake Diebler. We saw enough Jake Diebler last year. Pace is about 203. I think it stays the same and maybe into the 190s. So Ohio State already had Jake Diebler step in as the assistant, and now he's the head coach. Oklahoma State Cowboys. Miles Boynton to Stephen Lutz. Mike had this team slower last year than normal, 205th in pace. Steve Lutz plays at a crazy pace at Western Kentucky at first last year. I project top 10, medium to very fast, so this is a significant change. The Old Dominion Monarchs, Jeff Jones to Mike Jones. Jeff Jones upped the pace last year to 55th. Mike Jones, not the rapper who says his own name a lot, was an assistant at Maryland. I expect a slow pace, ranking in the 300s, medium fast to medium slow. Next one that makes sense to talk about, St. Louis Billikens, Travis Ford to Josh Schertz. Pace ranking 75th last year. St. Louis is serious about their basketball. They paid good money for Josh Schertz from Indiana State, who's going to up the pace into the 30s, medium fast to very fast. Siena Saints from Carmen Maciariello to Jerry McNamara with pace ranking 270th last year. Jerry's World comes in to spice it up. He was an assistant at Syracuse and will bring this bunch into the 30s. Medium slow to very fast for Siena. SMU goes from Rob Lanier to Andy Enfield coming from USC. The Mustangs ranked 165th last year. Andy Enfield will probably spice it up some into the hundreds, medium to medium fast for SMU. Southern Illinois Salukis, Brian Mullins to Scott Nagy. The Salukis played super slow at 333rd in pace. Scott Nagy comes in and will light this team up like a firecracker, ranking in the 20s, very slow to very fast. This is one of the biggest changes in all of college basketball, in my opinion, for Southern Illinois. Prepare to bet overs. The Stanford Cardinal, Jared Haas to Kyle Smith. Stanford was pretty fast at 71st in the nation, but Kyle Smith comes in from Washington State and will greatly slow this thing down into the 320s, medium fast to medium slow for Stanford. Next one that makes a little bit of sense, Utah State Aggies. They were good last year, but Danny Sprinkle, the money line, is gone. Jared comes in to slow it down from pace in the 99th to the 140s, so just a small slowdown, medium fast to medium. Vanderbilt Commodores, Jerry Stackhouse to Mark Byington. Jerry ran this team slow last year, ranking 285th in pace, probably because his team wasn't that good, but Mark Byington comes in from James Madison to speed things up into the 60s. This is a big switch here for Vandy, medium slow to medium fast. The Virginia Cavaliers, with the recent exit of Tony Bennett now to Ron Sanchez. Virginia loves their snail-like pace, usually the lowest in basketball, 362nd in tempo last year, but Ron Sanchez will continue the trend into the 350s. Very slow to very slow. Washington Huskies, Mike Hopkins to Danny Sprinkle, the money line, with pace ranked in the 30s last year. Danny Sprinkle will be sprinkling the money line on the over. It's not going to be much slower. There's no money line for over, obviously, but it's going to be probably in the 70s, so very fast to medium fast, I guess. So it will be pretty close. Washington State Cougars, Kyle Smith, David Riley from pace ranking 322nd. David Riley will greatly speed this thing up like he did at Eastern Washington. So this is a pretty big pace change for the Washington State Cougars. And you'll see that in the article that I put the team's name, either red or blue, for going from slow to fast or fast to slow. I project the pace in the 70s, medium slow to medium fast here for Washington State. West Virginia Mountaineers, Josh Eilert to Darius DeVries. The Mountaineers ranked 123rd in pace. DeVries from Drake will keep the same. So it's just literally 130s in my opinion. Medium to medium, no change. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, Stephen Lutz to Hank Plona. From lightning fast speed, first in pace last year, Hank will step right in with the same offense. I see top 10 in pace. Very fast, very fast. William and Mary Tribe. This is a big one here because Dane Fisher goes out and Brian Earl comes in from 273rd in tempo last year. Brian Earl comes in from Cornell and will heat things up into the 20s, medium slow to very fast. So this one is going to be a massive change for William and Mary. Wyoming Cowboys, Jeff Linder to Sundance Wicks. The Cowboys ranked 197th in pace. And Sundance comes in, and what a perfect name for the Cowboys, Sundance. It's like a horse name, right? He's going to slow things down to a crawl like he did in Green Bay. So we're going to project pace in the 340s. So literally from medium to very slow, I would say, for Wyoming. So those are the key ones that I was able to come up with for this podcast. The article is going to have every coaching change and my thoughts. So you can use this article for the first few weeks of college basketball to try to win your bets. So hopefully this helped you out a little bit. If you have any questions for us, feel free to tweet us at The Oddsbreakers. Email us at info@theoddsbreakers.com. Have a great rest of your week and go get some winners.